Greg says, I started to do some of these hip abductions and lateral raises before my big lifts as well, Ivan, and it definitely as Ivan, it definitely feels amazing rather than just doing the movement with lighter weights. Yeah, Greg, man, I used to be part of that camp. It's like, you want to warm up, do what you're gonna do, but just do it for a bunch of sets, empty bar and whatnot. It's not the same. It is not the same. Doing this before squats makes squats feel smoother. Doing more squats before squats, you don't feel smooth. You feel warm, but you don't feel smooth. These muscles that get activated in these machines and these kind of like abduction type exercises, they do something for the prime movers. You kind of like, I don't know if it resets the joint, or I don't quite understand how to explain it, but you feel better in the movement. You feel more solid, better bar path. It just feels better. And so the way we are built as human beings, there's always going to be, the quads are going to be some of the biggest muscles on our body. No matter what you do, no matter how you do it, the gluteus minimus and minimus will never outgrow the quads. It's just the way we're built. That's just our nature. And so if you continue just doing one exercise over and over and over and over again, like something like squats, no matter how you bloody do the squats, the quads are always going to be the most receptive, the most responsive to that movement. And so they will continue to hypertrophy. And then this gap is being, widened between what the quads potential is and what some of these stabilizing muscles, can output. And so then if you get into 3, 4, 5 years into your training career, all of a sudden there is such a huge disparity between these two groups of tissue. Now you have dysfunction. Now you have pain. Now you have inflammation. And so this is where a holistic approach usually revolves around targeting some of these weaknesses. For a basketball analogy that just popped into my mind, I've heard so many coaches say, the coach of the basketball team in the NBA, the biggest challenge for that coach is not to coach the superstar. No. The coach has to coach the guys that are less able, the role players. That's where a good coach comes in. You don't need to say anything to Kobe Bryant other than some bits and pieces here and there. That dude's already a superstar. He's the best player. You don't need to coach him. It's the guy that sits in the corner and sets screens and rebounds. That guy. That guy needs to be coached and developed and whatever. In the same way, the quads and glutes, for the most part, when I say glutes, I'm talking about glute max. They're going to get their work in with squats and deadlifts and jumping and sprinting and whatever. It's these other muscles which are not trained as well in those movements that need attention. And so this is where this type of work comes in, this and this. Incredible. Very unnatural movements. You don't do this unless you're an athlete and you're weaving in and out of traffic on the field or whatever. And so that's where I think doing some sort of activation exercise for these smaller muscle groups before you tackle the big stuff is so beneficial. It's so much better than just doing your whatever movement you want to do as a warm-up.